Welcome to the Altinity Instructional Video Series. I'm John Hummel, the Senior Technical Writer for Altinity. This video provides instructions on the first steps of installing the ClickHouse operator into your Kubernetes environment to manage ClickHouse clusters. This means you can install a Kubernetes operator that lets you configure your cluster layout, storage for data and logs, and other critical settings. The details on your particular Kubernetes environment may differ from the examples shown here. You may be running it on a local system or have it under a cloud service like Amazon AWS or Microsoft Azure. We're going to leave the particulars for how your Kubernetes system works and just show the general process for how to get this ClickHouse operator running. Before we start explaining how, let's take a moment to explain why. Why install ClickHouse in a cluster under Kubernetes in the first place? For those familiar with ClickHouse as the open source software that's a column-based analytics database, you may be aware that you can run it on your Linux or similar Unix-based environments. For this demonstration, we're going to be running on ClickHouse on a MacBook Pro laptop, and there's nothing stopping you from setting up an Ubuntu server in the corner of your office running ClickHouse from there, which will work if you're just importing some data once and running queries on it for a singular project. But suppose you're feeding it data from Kafka, or submitting log files from other distributed systems, collecting terabytes of information that needs to be ingested. And this data is going to be queried thousands of times a day by employees in different areas across the world or different systems. They're looking for updates on things. And it's going to keep running and delivering results because you're querying all these log files, or maybe a salesman needs the records of park attendance between the hours of 3 to 5 p.m. on every other Tuesday for a presentation on why installing a churro stand before this particular roller coaster will provide additional revenue, as opposed to putting it in front of the funhouse, and those results have to come in right now without bogging down system performance. If that's more aligned with your experience, then you're going to want to run ClickHouse in a cluster, and Kubernetes is one way to harness the power of ClickHouse's ability to scale with its clusters. Small changes to a configuration file let you deploy the clusters rapidly, and with Kubernetes monitoring tools, you can keep an eye on just what your cluster is doing and how to best fine-tune it. Let's get back to this tutorial. In this situation, we're running Kubernetes through the Docker install on a Mac OS X system. If you're running Linux with Minikube or Ubuntu Linux with Micro Kubernetes, the steps will be very similar, but you'll have to modify them for your particular environment. For full details on this guide and the configuration settings for the ClickHouse operator, refer to the ClickHouse on Kubernetes section of the Altinity documentation site. A link will be in the description field. The ClickHouse operator is available from its GitHub repository, along with sample installation files showing different ways of setting up your own ClickHouse cluster on Kubernetes. The examples here will be very basic and show how to start by installing the ClickHouse operator. Upcoming videos will explore how to use the ClickHouse operator to create and update ClickHouse clusters using the Kubernetes deployment tools. If you want to make sure that you are notified when those videos are available, make sure that you are subscribed, and then, because you can't just subscribe, click the bell to be notified about the things you're subscribed for. With all those preliminaries out of the way, let's get to installing. We start with the command line. To install the ClickHouse operator, we'll use the ClickHouse operator install configuration file available directly from GitHub. Alternatively, you can download this configuration file and make updates to change what your default settings will be for your pods. Either way, you're going to use kubectl and apply the configuration file. Kubectl, apply -f, and our file name, in which case, we're just pulling it right from GitHub. And that's it. You're done. No, really, it's that easy. You'll see the various Kubernetes extensions and the mappings applied. The full details are available on the Altinity documentation site or the ClickHouse operator GitHub page. For those who want proof for yourselves and not just take my word for it, you can verify the installation with the kubectl git pods command in the kube system namespace if you follow these default instructions. Kubectl git pods -namespace kube system. You'll notice the ClickHouse operator pod along with any other pods in that namespace. That's it for now. If you want to cut straight to the entire process of setting up ClickHouse on Kubernetes, check out the Altinity documentation site. To keep up to date on new events such as webinars or blog posts showing how to best use ClickHouse on-premises or in altinity.cloud, visit the Altinity resources page. For specific information on the ClickHouse Kubernetes operator, There's a resource page available at altinity.com/Kubernetes-operator. Thank you for watching, and until next time, happy coding.